Hello, this is Shira, and this is the Sagittarius new moon total solar eclipse outlook for December 4th, 2021. So let's get started, and we have the sun and moon at 12 degrees Sagittarius. That makes a conjunction to Mercury in Sagittarius at 15 degrees. Now, Sagittarius, what does Sagittarius represent? Sagittarius is about liberation. It is about free speech. Sagittarius believes in freedom of speech and action. Sometimes Sagittarians can be rather blunt, sometimes a little bit too much so. Very direct and very outspoken. Sagittarius is a fire sign, so Sagittarians have plenty of zest and energy to fulfill their goals. Sagittarius is a mutable sign, so they can adjust to different circumstances and plans. Sometimes mutable signs can be a bit wishy-washy and change their mind and plans somewhat too often, but they're great with flexibility in their outlook. So we have the sun and moon in Sagittarius, and it is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is very positive, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Now, we could say at this time, especially with a new moon and a total solar eclipse, that we will be feeling rather popular, and we will feel like we are gregarious like Sagittarius, and we want to have a sense of freedom and free speech in all things, whether it's business, whether it's relationships, what have you. So this is a time of great zest and positivity for the future, and we will feel rather generous, Sagittarius and Jupiter, rather outgoing as well. Now, the ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. So in this new moon chart, this is extremely important. Interestingly enough, we have Jupiter in Aquarius. And Aquarius, like Sagittarius, is also a lover of freedom, free speech, and they have certain objectives they must meet. And they are about friendliness, and one could say Sagittarius is very open and friendly as well. Now, on December 4th, the sun and the moon, as well as Mercury, the communicator, will not in the technical sense aspect by major aspect, that is, Jupiter at 25 degrees Aquarius. However, the sun and the moon, especially the moon, and Mercury, the moon within a day and a half, is applying a sextile to its ruler of Sagittarius. And sextiles are about air and fire, earth and water, and are very constructive and very positive. So not only are we going to have a great sense of the future, looking ahead, positivity with a little outspoken nature and speech, but we will feel very friendly and we will have our goals and objectives rather grounded. And that's the blessing of a sextile, is it helps us to keep ourselves grounded and looking to the future in a very practical sense. Now, Jupiter is in an air sign, and air signs are communicators, and fire signs are the energy behind the communication. So there will be a lot well known now personally in our lives and publicly about communications, whether it's negotiations or in particular because there's this emphasis with the future with Sagittarius, Aquarius, there will be some kind of possible technological advancements between this new moon and total solar eclipse and the following full moon. So between that time frame, between the beginning of December on the 4th and the full moon towards the end of December, we are going to have a lot of prospects that are going to give us a lot of hope. So the job market could improve. There could be our overall finances seem to improve. And mostly because of this fire-air connection, our communication are going to be fast and furious. And as always, where this connection of the Sagittarius new moon and the Jupiter in Aquarius connection are in your personal chart is going to be of utmost importance in those houses. Let's move on. So we have Mercury in Sagittarius and the moon in Sagittarius, of course, with the sun, the new moon. Now, they are applying a square to Neptune. And what is Neptune? It rules the mutable sign of Pisces, and it is a water sign, while Sagittarius is a very zesty fire sign. With the mutable square here with Neptune, we must be careful that any contracts we find that we want to sign at this time, or any objectives or future plans, Sagittarius, that we want to move forward with, are not met with certain confusion or uncertainty, because Neptune has a tendency to kind of cloud things a little bit. So we may feel like, okay, I want to move forward with this or that. And at the same time, there may be this uneasy feeling that we are not quite sure or certain that things will go exactly as planned. So do read the fine print. Make sure all your positive, enlightening plans are zipped up really well. Make sure all writings are clear, all communications and negotiations, because this square in all our enthusiasm and positive attitude about the future could be delayed, or there could be snags in the future if we don't make sure things are just so. Now, looking at Mars, we have Mars, the planet of action, in Scorpio, and Mars loves to be in Scorpio like it loves to be in Aries. And in this case, Mars is making a beautiful within 3 degrees trine to Neptune. So that kind of ensures that we will remain grounded and use some common sense with regards to our actions. And within the Mars and Scorpio and Neptune and Pisces trine, there is great talent and creativity. So our future goals and aims are going to be met with a lot of yes, that word again, enthusiasm, but we will also be very creative in our efforts to express ourselves with our future aims, and this is very positive. We must, however, be careful we don't kind of push our weight around a little bit because Mars is very strong in Scorpio, so we'll have to just kind of pull back a little bit on our energy with our communications with those closest to us regarding our goals and our desires, because we're going to just have so much excitement and so much to look forward to that we could trip and stumble on the mutable square with Neptune and Sagittarius and making a trine to Mars. So it's great to be very forward looking, but in this case, we are going to have to make sure all the facts are very clear. Now, we do additionally have a wonderful sextile to both Venus, the planet of love, and Pluto. And that's extremely intense, especially with Venus ruling love, balance, harmony, relationships of all kinds. With the sextile, here we have that earth, water theme again with Mars. So this is a great time, especially with love and relationships with the planet of Venus. And Venus in Capricorn will temper our feelings a little bit. That kind of puts the brakes a little bit on the Sagittarian positivity, Sagittarian zest. So we will have zest for our goals, aims, what have you, but it will be tempered by this wonderful Mars and Scorpio, very intense Venus-Pluto conjunction. However, Venus is with Pluto, so we will have to just kind of like the Mars and Scorpio effect, especially since Pluto rules Scorpio, we will have to just let loose on some of the intensity in partnerships. And that also includes not just love and relationships, but it also is connected with business partnerships. We've got two very strong indications of intensity here. With Mars and Scorpio, Venus conjunct Pluto, so it's positive, will give us much hope for the future, and especially some good news possibly connected with authorities, government, and so on. But with our personal life, we will just have to take a soft touch and just a few steps back so that we don't create any kind of conflict. Now, we do have Uranus still retrograde in Taurus. Now, that is at 11 degrees, and that is, as of yet, making a square to Saturn in Aquarius. And what does Aquarius rule? Aquarius rules genius. It rules technology, humanity, our friendliness. And Saturn likes to upset things a little bit, shake things up with Aquarius. It's the unexpected, and Saturn's depositor is Uranus. So there's going to be a very strong connection here with the masses, the public eye, connectivity, and our humanity with each other with Uranus square Saturn. We will be at cross purposes between wanting to connect with each other, yet fight the square for our ideals. And as always, where the square is in your chart during this new moon is of importance. However, Saturn at 9 degrees Aquarius makes a beautiful, actual, right on sextile to the moon in Sagittarius. So we're back to this air, fire theme. And what does Aquarius rule? The future. Somewhat like Sagittarius, so that only gives us more grounding to start that business, to start those negotiations and talks, because we're going to be in a really good mood during this new moon and solar eclipse. And with a solar eclipse, any of the eclipses, and that includes, yes, lunar eclipses, will only seek to heighten our feelings and emotions. So there may be even publicly a breakout, believe it or not, during this time of good expression and good emotions. Many people will be expressing their hope for the future. So this will be a very good theme for this new moon, Sagittarius new moon, and total solar eclipse, is all the practicality with the sextiles and the hope with the air and fire theme of what is ahead of us. Now, looking ahead, we have Jupiter in Aquarius at 25 degrees. So that is going to be, to reiterate, very positive for starting or discussing anything technological. And to reiterate, there could be some kind of technological breakthrough right now, but that does make a square to Mars. Now, anytime you have a square to Jupiter, or negative major aspect, such as opposition or square, some would say a conjunction, we will have to watch our spending. And because we will be so excited and very forward-looking right now, we could get a bit carried away and not look at the details. And that could be, depending where this is in your personal birth chart, regarding spending. It could regard being overly generous somehow, or just overdoing it emotionally, or wherever Mars and Jupiter are in your birth chart. So the idea right now is not to get too carried away or too over the top with our emotions and our actions. If we can temper our desire and our happiness, positivity regarding the future with practicality and a positive attitude and constructive negotiations, constructive action, and not be carried away with deception or confusion, and kind of look into some of the behind the scenes knowledge, do a little investigation with that trine. This month And certainly this new moon and total solar eclipse on December 4th is going to be very rewarding and very memorable indeed. If you'd like to get in touch with me, my contact information is down below. I give one-on-one readings and written reports. Please subscribe to this channel and press the bell notification. Until next time, many, many blessings.